Hello. Today on Maths is Not a Mystery, we're going to be looking at how to find fractions of a quantity, finding a fraction of a larger number. 3 questions there in front of you, and we're going to attempt those in a moment. But first of all, we're just going to go through the basics behind it. Let's take a look at that first question there. Find 2/3 of 24. Now, if you're going to be asked to find 2/3 of a number, you can't do that instantly. What you have to do is you have to find 1/3. Okay, you find 1/3 of the number, and when you've found 1/3, you simply find 2 of them. So you're looking at the bottom of your fraction each time to find what you've got to actually look for first. So 2/3 of 24. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find 1/3, which means you're going to divide 24 by 3 to find 1/3. How many 3's are there in 24? There are 8 3's in 24. So 8 is 1/3 of 24, but you've not been asked to find 1/3 of 24. You've been asked to find 2/3, so that's 2 lots of 8. That's all you have to do. 2 lots of 8 makes 16. That's your answer. On the second question then, you're being asked to find 3/7 of 14. So before you can do that, you've got to find 1/7 of 14. To do that, it's going to be 14 divided by 7. How many 7's in 14? There are 2. 2 is 1/7 of 14. You need 3 of them. 3 lots of 2 make 6. And so 3/7 of 14 would be 6. 5/9 of 36. You've got to find 1/9 of 36. So that's going to be 36 divided by 9. How many 9's in 36? There are 4 9's in 36. The question says that you need 5 of those. So 5 4's are 20. 20 is 5/9 of 36. That's how you go about finding a fraction of a quantity. Now, sometimes the questions might be written in a way that make it a little bit more complex at the first glance. So let's take a look at this one. A swimming club has 32 members. 5/8 of them are girls. So the question is, how many are girls, how many are boys? Well, let's start with the girls part then. There are 32 in total, so let's find 1/8. 32 divided by 8. How many 8's? How many 8's in 32? There are 4 8's to make 32. 5/8 are girls, so 5 4's are 20. So there are 20 girls. Now, to answer the next question, there are 2 possible ways you could do this, and both of them are perfectly valid. You could simply say, well, look, I know there are 32 people in the swimming club. I know that 20 of them are girls. So 32 take away 20 leaves me with 12. So there are 12 boys. It's perfectly reasonable to do that, and you'll get your full marks for doing it because you've got the right answer. The other way that you could do it is you could say, well, if 5/8 are girls, remember the whole group is going to be 8/8. So the whole group is 8/8. 5/8 are girls, so 3/8 are boys. So you could have done it by saying, all right, let's find 1/8 again. Well, it's still going to be 4, isn't it? It's not changed. But this time you need 3/8. So 3 4's give you 3/8. 3 4's are 12. Either way, your answer is the same. Either way, you'll get full marks. Okay, so 2 possible ways of answering that second question. You choose. It all depends on whether the numbers are easy to work out or not. Now, speaking of numbers that are not so easy to work out, let's take a look at this. Here I've got some questions that don't work out quite right. Now, most of the time an examiner will give you questions that work out into nice, comfortable whole numbers, but sometimes they don't. 2/3 of 11. If you were to divide 11 by 3, you don't get a whole number. 11 isn't on the 3 times table. And so there's a better way to do it than the way I've been showing you. Now this is only really useful when the numbers don't work out correctly, because you don't want to be dividing 11 by 3 and getting a number that's got a fraction. It's going to be 3 and a bit, isn't it? And then having to multiply that by 2. That starts to get really complicated. So here's a way to do it. 2/3 times 11 over 1. You've done, hopefully before, multiplying fractions. Now any whole number can be written over 1 because that's a sum, 11 divided by 1. And 11 divided by 1 is 11, so it still means the same thing. But let's look at what we can do with this. You multiply fractions by multiplying straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So 2 11s are 22, 3 1s are 3. So the answer to 2/3 of 11 is 22 over 3. Now, because that's an improper fraction, we can turn it into a mixed number. And we do that simply by saying how many 3's are there in 22. 7 3's are 21. And there's 1 left over. So it's going to be 7 1/3. And that's the answer. So it's a nice, easy way to go about it when the numbers don't work right. Look at the next question, the final one we're going to do. 3/4 of 9. Well, you can't split 9 easily into quarters, so let's do that again. 3 over 4 times 9 over 1. 3 9's are 27 over 4 1's are 4. So the answer is 27 over 4. To turn that into a mixed number now, how many 4's are there in 27? Well, 6 4's are 24. Remainder 3, and we were talking about quarters there, weren't we? 6 3/4 is the answer. So where the numbers don't work out nicely, where they're a little bit awkward, do it like that instead. If you'd like that method, if that method works for you, you can do that on numbers that do work out nicely as well. But sometimes I think that can complicate it, because if these numbers turn out to be quite big, you end up with a huge number over here being divided by something quite small over here, and that can leave you more opportunity to go wrong. So my suggestion to you is that if the numbers work out nicely, simply divide by the bottom number, multiply by the top. If the numbers don't work out nicely, then do it the way that I've just done it here. I hope that helps, hope that's useful, and we'll see you again soon on Maths is Not a Mystery. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.